let's get this show on the road here. Let's put this back on my screen. We'll pause this. We'll get back to it when we're done. Let me know in the comments if you guys can hear me all right. Okay, yeah. Let me make sure that's set. That's off. Let's see what we got going on in the comments. Hey, everybody. Daniel. ABF5959. What's going on? Glad you like the title. This might be a really short one tonight. I told some people I'd be on tonight, so my little guy literally just crashed as I was afraid he wasn't going to go to sleep, but he just fell asleep. So now I can try to talk about some stuff I've been looking at here as far as where we're at in the different cycles, altcoin cycle. What's going on with the Bitcoin cycle, Bitcoin price action. And before I get rolling, though, I do have to remind everybody I am not a licensed financial advisor. And anything you hear here is not financial advice. It's just for entertainment, and I'm an idiot. And if you listen to anything I say, you'll end up losing all your money and be living in a van down by the river. But hopefully you'll be in a happy little van down by the river after you lose all your money. Yeah, so to start off with, I guess Bitcoin's really what we're watching. If Bitcoin doesn't make... Yeah. Good morning. Let's go over ETH BTC. Yeah, absolutely. We will. So this key resistance right here, this is the high that we put in February. That's the number I've been watching. If you flip on the 50-day, you also see that this horizontal level here that I've got on my chart, that's a pretty important. I think it's a weekly level. Let's take a look. I believe it's a weekly level right through there. I've got 56,497, and it's cutting right through, right by where this 50-day moving average is cutting through. So the 50-day moving average is cutting through right there. You can see how the price action interacting with that 50-day. We're back above it finally. This is the longest stretch we've been above it as far as 8-hour candles go since the sell-off. So that's very, very good, very bullish. You know, I think a lot of people are talking about, if I do like a clean chart, a lot of people are looking at this ascending wedge pattern. Let me turn this off. And so, of course, ascending wedges are typically seen as bearish. But when you're a really, really bullish asset, you're talking about a bullish asset. Hold on, let me turn on some music. I forgot to keep going my music here. When you're talking about something that's in a strong uptrend, a bullish asset, it becomes, at best, a 50-50 proposition as far as I'm concerned, as these ascending wedges. And a good example of that is Ethereum's had about 3 of these, and we broke down once and broke up twice in this bull run so far. So, likelihood here is, yeah, I can hear that. You know, people are looking for all kinds of things though as well, but this is at least a 50-50 proposition, so we have to watch it either way as far as if you're a pattern trader and you're looking at this pattern playing out. But, we'll go back to comments here. Let's look at ETH BTC real fast. Every time my background changes, by the way, y'all see my TV that I have in the background that every time that changes, the lights change in my office, and I think somebody's turning on my light coming into my office to ask me something. So I'm constantly turning around and going, oh, nobody's there. That's what that is. ETH. Let's take a look at ETH. So on ETH's chart, I have these are my weekly fib extension levels. And about 3,900 really was really the key level. We got above it, cleared above it. So let's look at the 1 week where we're at now. Yeah, so this last set of extensions I had mapped out here on this last impulse. But you look at the monthly, by the way. Have you all looked at the monthly chart of Ethereum? It's just ridiculous. I've never seen a monthly do this. I can't ever think of an asset I've ever seen do something like this. Not one. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 monthly candles, and on top of that, 8 monthly green candles. It's for an astounding over 1,000% gain, 8 straight months of green candles. I've never seen anything that's not like a speculative, really small asset do that. It's mind-boggling. Hey, Matt. All right. ETH BTC though, ETH BTC, the other thing, so I had a resistance coming in right here. You see those touches over there? Probably it's the monthly levels. This is the monthly ETH BTC chart. I'll tell you what kills me. I'll share this with you guys. I was listening to another YouTube videos. I think it was a kind of a podcast format that I think Ace from CTM posted. And you know, he's pretty young. I think he just turned 17. And there's a trader talking about if I went back to when I was 20, you know, things I would talk to tell myself or remind myself. And there were a couple things in there. Focusing on other traders and like their mistakes and how they overcame their mistakes. So you'll hear me talk about my trading mistakes probably more than my successes. Like I don't really talk about my successful trades too terribly often. I talk about my mistakes a lot because I want to learn from them. This is a mistake I made here. I'm trying to find the pattern exactly. I don't know. You know, I had this like little bit of a. I am off my game big time. I keep drawing things. I don't mean to draw things. All right. I don't know what this channel is here exactly for. But if I get rid of these are no longer important. I was looking at this breakout pattern through here somewhere, I'm pretty sure. And I took some trades coming out of here. And I took profit right here. So yeah, I took trades on ETH BTC coming out of here. And I forget why, when this consolidation somewhere, I went ahead and took. I think I might have got stopped out on this one of these wick downs, but I was too aggressive with my stop loss, too aggressive not pushing that trade. I think I was watching all this price action, and I think I set a stop loss. Should have been really below that wick right there, huh? But I don't know exactly. Maybe it was over here I got stopped at. I don't really remember exactly what I was thinking, or it was over here somewhere. Something wicked down and took me out of the trade, but yeah, I got like, and this is what I went on to do after that. That would have been a huge trade. I think it was a small win. So that would have been my entry right there. 15% win, not too shabby, I guess, but it could have been a. Hold on. Stop. Don't do that. Another 85% on top of that. Yeah, it could have been a 100% win. All right, let's look at comments here. Okay, ETH BTC though, as far as what I see here, we broke out above this level here. This is now support. So it's looking good. Let's see how high it runs. I'm expecting it to turn around any minute now. I mean, you see how these these big runs, then a deep pullback, and a run and pullback. We haven't had a deep pullback. So I don't know that we're not going to get a spike like this. I don't think that we had last cycle. This was, if you remember, last market cycle. This peak was the early alt season peak, and this was the post Bitcoin sell-off peak. And the early Ethereum peak was stronger than the late one. I suppose it's possible we reach those type of levels. I don't think so. I think we might set a new floor, though. We probably will set a new floor above these levels. I think we'll never see these levels again, possibly. But we'll see what happens. But I'm expecting, and I don't think it's going to last long, but I expect a deep pullback, right? And so I'm also looking at the Bitcoin dominance. I can see it starting to bottom out here. To me, this feels like it's bottoming out. Let me show you why I think that. A couple things. I've got this general downtrend. Man, I'm so off. I keep clicking on stuff. It's just, oh, God. All right. Yeah, I've got this general downtrend that you see in my chart. These two touches were what started that top trend line. But these downtrends here, and then I've got a key level at 50, and then you see this. It becomes kind of unpredictable what happens below 50. This is where I've kind of been defensive. Now it can keep going. We could slice all the way down to 35, right? We could still lose it. We could consolidate here and lose this level, and alts could run even more. So, I mean, it can happen. And if it does, if we break down to this level that we're consolidating in, then we'll have to change our tune and rotate maybe back into alts and be more aggressive. I've trimmed 20% of my major alt bags. So, the ones I hold, well, Ethereum, Polkadot, Chainlink, Cardano. I've taken 20% right as we came into here. I started actually rotating under here, but I've really finished rotating down here. As more aggressive as we came into that level. What is this music I'm listening to? So, I do expect a bounce here before too long, just because if you look at this from a weekly standpoint. All right, this is killing me. That'll work. Yeah, so let me take a look at comments now. So this is what I'm expecting. Like I said, I've been rotating. Maybe I'm wrong, and I have to reevaluate if this breaks down further. But we're looking at Bitcoin's price action. What I highly expect, and what I'm doing is I'm trying to be anticipatory, if that's a word. I'm trying to anticipate Bitcoin's price action is largely what's going to drive what happens next here, right? I think if Bitcoin continues to consolidate, this will continue to go down, obviously, because as Bitcoin consolidates at these levels it's at, altcoins have more room to run to continue to. A lot of altcoins anyway have room to run to catch it to reach peak valuations from before. But I expect a pretty swift rotation back into Bitcoin here before too long, and I believe it coincides with the breakout in Bitcoin, and we're getting really, really close to a breakout in Bitcoin. That's, if you look here again, you go back to like this. This is a key level I have right here. No, the 50 at that level. I'm sorry. Well, we can flip that one. Well, I shouldn't have flipped that one green just yet, but the 50-day. So I'm looking at. Sorry, the 50-day. We've been above the 50-day quite a bit here, trading above it, and really kind of wicked down to it, right above it, and then down below it, and recovered right above it. This other level I have, 57,233, is also an important level. But we're slowly inching our way back up here, so why are my lines looking crazy? I'm going to pause, and let's take a look at comments. So I didn't answer ETH BTC entirely, did I? ETH BTC, as far as like, we broke out of this level, and this is the next resistance I have right up here. I don't have it on my chart. Right there, roughly, right? You can see that, right? Historically. Maybe do some fib extension work. One of these levels, I expect it to give us that deep reversal like we saw here, right? And then a bounce off of another support level. And that's where we need to look to get back in next time. Get back over here. This is a daily level. And it looks, when you zoom out, it looks like that was a pretty non-event, right? When you zoom out like this, when I'm talking about it like this, you look at this chart, it looks like it's pretty much straight up. But when you zoom in and you look at the daily price action, you can see that if you were trading this asset, you know, you would want to have trimmed some and then rotate it back when it's showing strength back over here somewhere, right? Because of the way that played out. So this is what I kind of think. You know, we've had this really strong ramp up. I expected pullback. Now let's go to, like, this is daily. This is a daily chart, right? You see the big ramp, and what that whole thing looked like. Now let's go back over here to ours. Dragon lines in the chart. Got to be a faster way to do this. You see this big ramp, but we haven't had that deep pullback yet. So we'll see if we get one. That's what I'm kind of expecting. All right. So I got ETH BTC in there for you, Juice. Hope that helped. I caught the Allen AU special, so I'm reading some comments here, guys. Brent, I caught the Allen AU special while driving back camping. It was awesome. Great job. Need to rewatch, see all the visuals. Yeah. And it takes some time to digest what he's saying. And what I need to start doing is I need to start talking more about on-chain. On-chain gives me a lot of data. I don't really talk about it in my videos much. I mean, I look at... Actually, the reason I didn't talk about my videos is because Glassnode's a paid-for service, and I use Glassnode. And I didn't know if I could share that or not, honestly, on a live stream. So I see lots of other people starting to do it, so I'm thinking maybe I can. I don't know. But let me go to Glassnode real fast. But you know, there's other free resources too that we need to be using that I can share. But the on-chain stuff is what gives me a lot of the conviction that I have when I come on here and I start talking about how I'm pretty convicted in price, you know, for the potential for some price to do something. It's because I'm looking at on-chain data. But yeah, so, and Alan's starting to bring in, you know, the derivatives market's growing for Bitcoin and crypto, right? So options and other derivatives are going to play a larger and larger part in dictating price action as they do with, you know, other assets today. All right. Samuel, I hope I answered your question about rotation back into Bitcoin. I'm anticipating it. there's of course the possibility that alts run with Bitcoin and they outpace Bitcoin, and Bitcoin dominance continues to either consolidate or fall. But the safe play, so what I've done is I've rotated my alts into Bitcoin, and for the most part, I've gone long 2-to-1 Bitcoin on different levels. As we break and hold different levels, I've taken a couple more entries through this price action. You know, coming into support, I think I bought the dip. I bought the dip as we recovered that trend line. I bought this dip. I bought that dip. Right. So those are my last 3 entries, buying those dips. With the funds that I had freed up from selling alts, I bought those dips on Bitcoin and then went leveraged as they took out. You know, it gave me entry signals as well. All right. I'm still not fully positioned leverage though. I'm waiting for this to clearly break out and come back into this level for a retest. So then I'll be fully positioned. But I'm slowly scaling my way back up here. Being kind of defensive. I got caught off guard last time. Alright, let's look at comments. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance. Yeah. But we'll see what happens. I'm really curious to see. Oh, I wanted to talk about BLX. And there's a couple things here before I look at comments actually. We're 364 days in and 663% up in this cycle. And you see obviously all the consolidation we had, but from the halving to today, 663% gain. And that's probably offset largely by this sell-off. The price would have probably been higher coming into the halving had it not been for this Black Swan event, right? So 663%, 364 days. And so I put it over here on the last cycle, same thing. This blue box is basically price action from today overlaid on last cycle. So you can see it's a bit much stronger. We've had a much stronger start to this. Well, we really consolidated more. It looked more like this, or whatever. You get the idea. But the cycle we're in now has been a lot stronger than last cycle so far. And 2 things to note here. I was looking at this closer here. You said I forget exactly what caused this sell-off. Post-halving, there was some type of news event. I can't remember exactly what it was. I vaguely remember this happening. But it sold off pretty hard. It kind of reset. So for a really long time after the halving, the price of Bitcoin got kind of reset before things really got rolling. So it was a pretty decent amount of time. So the Black Swan kind of sell-off was kind of post-halving on last cycle, whereas pre-halving on the cycle we're on. So it changes the dynamics a little bit. But nonetheless, what I wanted to show was, you know, we're the percentage gain that we've had, and I'll put it in the log so you can see it. Look how strong we are this cycle still, right? So all this consolidation, I do want to highlight that, you know, being concerned about the consolidation that we're having, look at the gains compared to last cycle, and we're well ahead of last cycle's gains. So, you know, I wouldn't be too concerned about it. And also, you know, as far as days go, this is still a little bit ahead. So I don't think this is coming, because what happened last cycle was we had a lot more consolidation through here, trying to fight with the prior all-time high, and then it went on a very strong run, small correction, and then the bigger correction. All right, the anatomy of that. The other thing I wanted to show is ETH BTC or ETH USD. Let's turn off log, yeah. When ETH got really big was right before we go into that really bad correction. So ETH got really strong before we went into a really strong correction. So looking at this cycle, that's getting to be a little bit concerning as far as ETH's price action's a little bit. It's kind of going off the chart here a little bit. So what I still think is going to happen is we get another leg up, and then we have a really big sell-off. And the reason I think that is because we've had a bunch of smaller sell-offs already. But we could have a bigger snap down. That's what it's looking like, and I'm not sure exactly what order things play out. So we have to kind of proceed with caution. Anyway, that's That's the whole thing. Currently, the current price action does look quite bullish. I'm not too worried about anything I'm seeing now. My magic 120-day SMA was hit. So another thing to consider is that this cycle is playing out very differently than last cycle in a lot of ways. There's a lot of differences. And so this is why I'm also taking this whole altcoin thing day by day, and I'm really using this as my barometer. And I see this big sell-off, and this thing likes to bounce out of nowhere. It just changed, it changed gears real fast. You can kind of see, I was highlighting this before, when Bitcoin made that really strong run in November and December, Bitcoin dominance really spiked. And then from then on, it was, Bitcoin was down, but we consolidated quite a bit when Bitcoin consolidated. Until recently, the alts have been just going bananas. All right, let's take a look at comments and see what everybody's got here for questions or thoughts. Peter says, interesting stream. Can you talk about defensive leveraged long strategy? What do you see as entry signals? Okay. So, I don't know if you're familiar with CTM. If you're not, the methodology that we use in trading was developed by Jordan Lindsey, Conquer Trading and Investing, basically. And it's a longer term swing trade, trying to find momentum and take momentum trades. And it's very much it's a very simple entry signal is the key entry signal. It's a breakout of a level, and you wait for the market to come back into that level as support, and then give you a resumption signal. Now, I have my own modified style that I play around that, specifically around Bitcoin. So a lot of times with Bitcoin, I'll wait for a break in crypto, I'll wait for a break of a level, and then come back into support, and then buy on that support with a pretty tight stop loss. This is something I've adapted from another CTN member, Heath, is kind of talked a lot about. And so I've been able to really dial in my support and resistance levels a lot tighter because of Heath. So what I can do is I can take these entries coming into these support levels and put a pretty tight stop loss, and either we reverse right away and I stay in the trade, or we don't and I'm out of the trade pretty fast, or that entry anyway. That's a couple of thoughts there on all that. At the end of the day, what we're waiting for is so the trend is your friend until the end. If I was to simplify the trading strategy that I use down to the very basic elements, the trend is your friend until the end. So you want to trade with the trend. You want to buy into support in an uptrend, and buy into resistance or sell into resistance on a downtrend. And there's a couple ways of doing that. It's literally taking entries as you come into support levels and seeing if you bounce off of that and resume off of that, or taking or being quickly out if you drop below it. Secondly is a retest resumption. So one of the best signals in all of the markets is when you break a level and you hold that level as support as you come back into it to test it and then resume off of it. So an example entry would look like, so say that white line is the line I was really watching. When the market, and we're in a general uptrend here, right? When the market breaks this level, and it's done it a couple times now, but we break this level, come back into it to test it, and then I see a resumption, then I'll take an entry as I resume, as the price action shows me that it's going to resume and it takes out the prior. I actually trade on open and close price, so when I take out the open price, I'll take an entry. You can also be safer and wait for the wick to be taken out, the whole price action. Or you can be more aggressive and take out the body. I'm generally speaking a little bit more aggressive, and I generally trade at open price when we take out open price. That's the way I like doing it. But anyway, that's some thoughts on that. And as far as defensive, it's just maintaining your stop loss and your stop loss levels. Right now, I have a really wide stop loss. So what I do in crypto, the other thing that I do is I keep a super wide stop loss. So right now, my stop losses are probably down at like 51 or something. And what I try to do, 50, I don't remember where they are. I got some at 46 and some at 51 on Bitcoin, for example. So I've got some way down here. What I try to do is I try to manually get myself out ahead of my stop losses too. So I have these really, really wide stop losses. But when I see price action, so if I'm like looking at price action, I see it break down a level I've been watching. So we're coming up to this level. We're slowly making some higher highs out of this, and slowly kind of making higher lows for the most part. If I see us go the other direction, I start to see us ping pong around here, and I get the sense that we like lose this trend line and we're coming down, I will exit early, right? And that's just that I keep these really wide stop losses to avoid getting wicked out, but I'm watching constantly, and I will manually exit as we, namely what I really look for is I look for us to lose a key support level that I think we need to hold for price action to continue playing out. So say, for example, we lost 55,100. That's a trend line right there that I've got on here, and that's a pretty important, relatively, it's not the most important of all levels. But if we were to lose that level, and we're probably going back down to 46 or something, right? Or some other level. So as we come into 55, and test it as resistance, as soon as I see any indication of turning around back down, I'm going to start to trim right here as we bounce back into that resistance. And that'll help me exit before my stop loss gets triggered and help me cushion my exit. Now, if it resumes up, then I'm looking for, I pay for a little bit of insurance at that point, right? So one of these levels above here, so this is my insurance. This is where I'll just be out and I'll miss it. As we break these levels and we resume off, then I will re-enter the trade. So this is my little bit of insurance, all this price action in here. So whatever I took off here, if I was wrong and we didn't end up breaking down, we retake these levels, then I'll be back in the trade. I'll have paid some insurance, basically. All right. That's the way I look at it. That's the way I handle my trades. All right. I hope that helps. All right. Let's go back up here. Telcoin host. Yeah, Telcoin's been on a tear. I can talk about the merits of the project itself, but I'll just say that if you're an active trader, like if you're just buying crypto to hold, you might have missed the boat slightly on this one. For now, I would definitely wait for it to cool off. If you're a technical trader, you don't have to take profit just yet. You've had a nice breakout, and if you're in this, what I do with these breakouts. Fib extension levels are great if you can get a good level and get a good mapping of fib extension levels. A lot of these are too parabolic for that. I kind of find myself a parabolic trend line that I like, and I just ride the trade until it breaks down. Same philosophy earlier, right? So if I lose this level, when I come back into it as resistance, and I test that, I'll exit. Or I'll exit as close as I can. Sometimes they don't bounce back into it, right? Sometimes you get a really nasty sell-off and a little bit of a bounce. You can just tell price action. But generally speaking, if you get a bad enough sell-off, you'll get stopped out at some level like that. You probably have some level picked on your chart for a stop loss. So you just get stopped out by your stop loss. But if you want to try to beat your stop loss, you can try to find you a nice parabolic trend line. And you just wait for that trend line to break. And then see what price action does and exit as you come into resistance. Because a lot of times these parabolic, really parabolic coins, they don't like break down entirely, they just consolidate. And then you can move somewhere else to keep an eye on it. But that's just my thoughts on that. Let's take a look at something on Tel. Look at its market cap. Its market cap has ballooned quite a bit. Where are we at? $2.7 billion, 56. Yeah, aims to be the telecom go-between. Yeah, if you caught it, that's a big breakout, man. Whew. My biggest winner that I still have on is Matic. I think Matic broke out a little bit earlier. Oh, man, I missed it. I wasn't watching earlier. I would have taken my last little bit off here. I still have 25% of my initial entry. I had a tiny bit from back in January when I talked about it on my stream. I highlighted it back here at 2 cents on the here's the Bitcoin chart as a play to play. Yeah, literally, like I recorded that video on the 2nd of January right here. That's where I recorded that video. That Matic was going to be one of the key plays to take advantage of Ethereum scaling solutions, and I bought on that day. Tiny bit though, way too small of an amount. And then it ballooned. And I just kept my hodl bag, and I entered a much bigger position on this breakout, and I took profit. Did you see? Same thing. I was watching these trend lines. When I lost this trend line right here, that was my first exit. That was my exit. Yeah. I think I took 50% somewhere else on the way up somewhere somehow. I must have been watching some other. We must have lost a level here. That was my top exit. But I still had 25% on for a moon bag, and I probably should have taken profit right there, huh? I just wanted to check that chart. I don't know if anybody asked about it, but I just briefly saw earlier I had a big spike. All right, take a look at comments. Would I consider shorting an alt BTC pair in the final peak of the bull run? Yeah, I'll be looking to short Doge and Litecoin and a few others. The thing about the shorting versus Bitcoin's going to be losing value as well. So it's a tricky thing, because as soon as you take, it depends on what exchange you use. But like on Kraken, if I'm trading versus Bitcoin, when I exit the trade, I'm going to be paid out in Bitcoin, so I have to immediately then turn around and try to find a good exit, hopefully on a bounce into resistance on Bitcoin to take profit. So I'll probably mostly just play in the USD charts. But we'll see. On the way down, it's more helpful to take the USD charts, because then you don't have to do that second trade. But if the chart's set up, I mean, you can do it. The best time to trade versus Bitcoin, versus Bitcoin is in the bull market when Bitcoin's in consolidation. I talked a lot about it in January. That's when I was really aggressive about right here. I knew that this huge move we'd had, alts were going to go bananas as we consolidated after that big run, because they're just going to play catch up, follow the leader, play catch up there, and that was the best time. You see here coming into January right there, I was talking all about trading versus BTC, trade versus BTC. And as soon as we lost this, we were watching. I'm at a live stream. We lost these levels, and I was in heavy. My best trading of the year was trading against Bitcoin for this leg down right here. I was super aggressive. This I was less aggressive. I've been successfully playing the USD charts, but I was less aggressive on the Bitcoin. It was a mistake. Another mistake there is that I didn't see this breakdown being this strong and this big of a move on Bitcoin dominance. I think I maybe just got caught off guard by the amount of consolidation we had here, honestly, and that I wasn't probably paying as much attention as I should. I did take versus Bitcoin trade, just not nearly as aggressively through here. Here I was super aggressive. I did really good. All right, let's take a look. So this is Brandon, not Jordan, but I can look at Litecoin. Sure, Litecoin's doing big things. Oh my goodness! Woo, Litecoin! I don't have a trade on Litecoin currently. It's making me upset. I've traded a bunch of really good trades on Litecoin. Litecoin's been a great trading instrument. I've been so busy lately. I didn't catch this. A beautiful setup though. Yeah. Hopefully you're in it. If you're in it, just ride it. It's gonna run for a while. It's gonna run with Bitcoin. So here's the thing about Litecoin. Litecoin's, obviously an ancillary to a little brother to Bitcoin, more or less, right? And a lot of people who are speculating in the space, they'll buy Litecoin because it's a cheaper coin than Bitcoin, and they don't know what the heck they're buying, but they just buy Litecoin. So it's a great trading vehicle. I don't like the project, and I don't own Litecoin anymore. I used to, like last cycle, I was big in Litecoin. I love Litecoin, but this cycle, it's useless. I shouldn't say it's useless. That's not fair. It's just not as useful as other projects and other forms of currency. So, but it's a great trading vehicle, and that was a beautiful breakout of these, And I don't have any trades on, just because I wasn't watching this consolidation pattern unfold. It's been pretty easy to pick out. It would have been hard to find an entry though. Look at that. Oh yeah, right there. Right. If you go to the 4 hour, you'd have got your entry right there. That's why I would have bought right there. It'd been my entry. At that level right there. Pretty easy to pick this one out. I just didn't do it. Wasn't watching myself. ETH at 4K. Congrats, ETH. 4K. There it is. 4,000. Woo! There she goes. And that is exciting stuff right there. ADA's coming off a little bit. Man, I rotated it like almost the perfect time. I took 20% of my ADA right there. Twice. I took 10% here and 10% there. And then I'm long BTC leveraged. All right. Yeah, I mean, let's look at this. Let's look at ETH BTC. It's going to run some more. I think ETH BTC is going to make another leg up. You see, this is going to be a pseudo entry. It's not a super clean. It's not a traditional CTM entry because we really didn't come back to properly retest this level I have. Assuming that's the level, right? The market may disagree with me. I could probably go pick out. You could probably make a case for that being a level. I'm sure of it. But nonetheless, on my chart, it's not a clean entry. But it's a pretty good one. It's still viable. It's just not like a perfect entry. A perfect entry for me in crypto is a 12-hour. 12-hour breakout, perfect retest of my support level and a resumption. That's my favorite. Those give you really, really high success rate. Oh man, what's going on? All right, let's give really high success rate. But congrats to all ETH holders. Alan P is rolling in his stacks of money. Who's done better in the cycle in general? ETH or ADA? I think, where are we at now? When I built, so I'm still up on ETH from when I built my position in ADA, right? Right. Yeah. So I built my position on ADA. So ADA was it would be 30% of my portfolio right now if I hadn't taken profit twice. It's down to 20%. But I built my position in ADA right here. Somewhere, I don't even know exactly. It's all, through here somewhere. When ADA was like 8 cents. But not by much. Look at ETH's catching it. There's ADA. ADA still breaking out, but ETH 4K. My goodness. For the bigger, safer asset, that's impressive. From that chart though. Can you imagine being short this thing? And there are people out there trying to short this. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? They were trying to short it, over here. Wow, that's crazy. All right. Won't what go down a little bit? I'm sorry. Local L. Litecoin? I mean, it might. It's going to follow Bitcoin. I think Bitcoin's going to make another leg up here. And so if Bitcoin breaks out, then Litecoin is probably going to continue to run. Let's look at the Litecoin BTC chart, though. I mean, it's a full-on breakout. Yeah, look at that. So I should have been more aggressive. My rule was I've been playing this channel. So I took all my really good Litecoin trades. When Litecoin versus Bitcoin came into the bottom of this channel, I was taking Litecoin trades and then selling at the top of this channel. And this breakout kind of caught me off guard, and it's been going ever since. So, but yeah, that's on a full-on breakout versus Bitcoin. It's going to come into resistance here soon. You see that level? This is a very long-term, that long-term level right there, that downtrend. And then, of course, the horizontals. There's some resistance here coming in. I mean, it's in a downtrend versus Bitcoin. If it breaks out of this, something drastically has changed with Litecoin, the project, and it's got a lot more viability because it broke out, hard. Or I don't know, maybe Elon Musk just starts tweeting about it. I don't know, but nonetheless, it's likely, going to reverse at some point versus Bitcoin. But if Bitcoin makes another leg up, Litecoin could make another leg up. Now, don't hear what I'm not saying. It's not going to go up forever. Bitcoin's going to have another correction in here before the bull market's over for sure, and Litecoin will correct much harder than Bitcoin when Bitcoin turns around, right? So just keep that in mind. So I'm not saying that Litecoin's going to forever go up, and I'm not even saying Litecoin's going to go up from here, more than a couple days, but it looks like if Bitcoin breaks out, it'll follow Bitcoin. I wouldn't trade it. I don't have a trade on. I'm not gonna put on a position. I missed all my entries. Right there. That's a perfect. Look at that. You can't catch them all. I'm just not watching all these pairs. Right there, man, there's some beautiful entries. 12 hours. I like it. The other thing too, small nuance thing. When you have really long wicks, really long candles, I generally wait because I think there's probably going to be some more consolidation, and I wait for another. You know, I just wait a little bit longer a lot of times. But this, I don't see a really good opportunity here. If you had waited, it wouldn't have done you any good, because the entry would have been taking out this candle right here, and that would have been right. You know, it depends on if you're going for the top of the candle or the body. Either way, you'd have entered one of those two spots, and you just had to dealt with this next little bit of a downturn. But your stop loss should have been, you know, way down here somewhere on that entry. It's where I would have put my stop loss looking at this chart. Below that candle, maybe even down here. Man, earlier when I was looking for music, I was like trying to find something to listen to, and I just randomly clicked on an Our Lady Peace song, and I guess apparently I hit shuffle the band, and not. I thought I was just saying like go pick music like that, but man, I listened to the Our Lady Peace this whole time. It's like it's been very cathartic. I feel a lot better after. I was so exhausted coming into this. I'm feeling so much. I don't know. Our Lady Peace, good stuff. Yeah, Tell's got ahead of itself. I mean, you know, beautiful for people holding it. You know, just like I said, take profit when you feel like it. I'm not going to tell you what to do. It's not financial advice, of course. But Bitcoin's wanting to break. We break 59,585. Things might get a little interesting here, so I'm gonna hang on and see what happens. I kind of think that what we're gonna get is tomorrow morning's gonna be a little more exciting. Tonight's gonna be Sunday nights are, you know, usually pretty dicey. I don't. We might have a shakeout tonight. I don't know. What do I know? I've cooled my jets on trying to make predictions because things are. The on-chain data is very, very bullish, but there's a lot of other things that are like, well, we could have a surprise fourth correction here. Is like what I'm kind of trying to get at. But I was looking at this earlier. I was trying to find this trend line here. Yeah. The top of this wedge, we might just come into that and bounce a little more, and then this week break out of it all. But we'll see. That's the wedge I'll be watching the top of. Let's see if we get out of that. That's kind of escape velocity there. You get above that, and you're on a breakout. Of course, obviously you got to break the all-time high and go back into price discovery, but that's, you know, it's a ways away from where we're at. Price action's looking good though. 59.3 on Bitcoin. 40.20 on Ethereum. I mean, everything's. If you're bullish and long crypto assets, you're doing good. That's for sure, huh? Let's look at comments here. Any more requests? Mauricio 6K. What price should I take profit on Ethereum? Mauricio, I'm not a financial advisor. These are my fib levels. You can look at my fib levels and borrow them if you like. I do not claim to be a Fibonacci extension expert. I use them. I have used them successfully for a while. The very top level I have here, the 4, is 4,300. Now, just remember though, given the bullishness and the where we're at, we have a, you know, in theory, we should have quite a bit of ramp up on Bitcoin still ahead of us, and it should enter. It's putting in a new base right now. The new base it's building is $1 trillion market cap, which is around 55,000 or 54, whatever it is, 52,000. I forget what it is exactly. It's somewhere north of $50,000 Bitcoin. It's putting in a new base right now, and after it finishes solidifying this base, we should get the next run up that an asset will do after breaking a major level like that, and then confirming it as support over some period of consolidation like it's doing. So this should end in a speculative blow off top now that we've set this new paradigm. And that's what's happening. If y'all don't understand what's going on, it's very simply what's happening with Bitcoin. And all this price action, everybody's freaking out about a million different things. It's the battle for 1 trillion, if you don't know that. And it's a long-winded way of answering when to take profits on Ethereum. Short term, you know, you can look at those fib levels I just shared, like 4,200 or something like that. Look at your ETH BTC chart, see when it comes into resistance. Maybe rotate into BTC is probably the safer thing to do. I've already rotated a lot of my ETH to BTC, or what I had planned to, my allocation. But if you guys don't know what the heck's going on, you can hear all this Wyckoff pattern, this, that, and the other, blah, 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 and everybody's freaking out because we've been consolidating for a while. I'm gonna tell you, it's simply, you slice a line through here, it's somewhere right around here. This line represents a very significant level. This is a $1 trillion market cap. I think it's right there, 51, 52,000. That's super significant. $1 trillion market cap. It changes the asset class, and it changes the people who are interested in being involved in this this asset. And so what we've been doing is we've been fighting with that specific level to confirm it as support. And when you got this big massive bounce, so you got a bounce on it here, support confirmed. Here you just broke above it, you had it as resistance, and then you confirmed it as support one time. Came back and you went below it, and it got a really strong market telling you the second time that's now support. So this is what's happening. This is all that's going on. It's just the market is testing that level to verify that buyers are going to buy when you come in that level or below it. And so now that's kind of your baseline, right? That's probably the worst case scenario right now. Wherever 1 trillion is, I don't know exactly what number it is anymore. And it changes every day. The more more coins come in the market. You get the idea. So that's all this is. All this shenanigans is the battle for 1 trillion. This is a paradigm shift. Now, when a paradigm shift happens in an asset, a bunch of market participants are forced to reevaluate their view of this asset. And so what that does is they're all going to change their perception of this asset. And so a lot of big money managers and corporations are going to view this asset as something they want to have, they need to have on their books somewhere. And so as a hedge, as a whatever reason they give to put it on there, a gold 2.0, or they want to be part of the crypto movement, whatever it is, whatever reason, they're going to see Bitcoin as an essential asset to hold because they've been forced to realize it. And when you have that happen, then you have more buyers coming in as this is being, the longer this, every day that we're above that green line right there, is more and more buyers are being forced to reckon with this asset and think about adding it or adding it. As you get that flurry of bullish news coming in, the market cycle, the winds of the market cycle, as people add it, more and more participants then feel the crunch. Oh, I'm this hedge fund manager, and this guy over here put Bitcoin on, and now he's up. Whatever, right? I gotta add it now too. It just, I'm preaching to the choir, I'm certain, but that's all this is. We're battling for that line, and as long as we can keep confirming that as support, the next phase is a bigger move than we've had. This is a big move, going. So what happened here was the halving created, a change in the supply-demand equation, and thus, when the supply dried up right through here, then you have this price action. And so that forced the market to take notice of this asset. And then you see things like Tesla right here adding Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And then MicroStrategies and others, along the way. And so that has changed the nature of the asset entirely. So anyway, that's what's going on. So a long-winded way of answering your question about when to take profits on Ethereum. What's going to happen next is Bitcoin's going to eventually break out of this logjam when the market realizes it's not going back below 1 trillion anytime soon, or ever maybe. And then a lot of people start piling in. And when that happens, supply and demand, a lot of demand coming in, a reduction in supply that we've had, and money printer goes burr, everything else, we make a big leg up. When this asset moves big, Ethereum will actually lose value to it, but will be overall brought up in value. So the smart thing to do is to rotate into the asset that's going to look like it's going to break out, or Bitcoin, right? And then get back into Ethereum later. And so if you're agile and nimble and you rotate a little bit of Ethereum into Bitcoin at the right time, and then rotate back from Bitcoin into Ethereum at the right time, because in theory, when Bitcoin consolidates, then that creates a lot of fervor. When Bitcoin makes a new paradigm and sets and then creates a bunch of headlines, that creates a lot of fervor in the crypto space, and then other crypto assets start to get a lot of interest, and then things move up. So when Bitcoin makes this next move up and sets yet another paradigm shift, then once it consolidates and calms down and people start looking around at other assets, that's when they start to move. So Ethereum will probably move again, but whenever Bitcoin decides to break this logjam, it will suck value out of these other projects. And this is reflected here in this Bitcoin dominance chart. All right? The higher the Bitcoin dominance, the more percentage of the total market cap that Bitcoin is of the crypto market cap. And the lower it is, the more everything else is, right? So right now, 55% of the market of all of crypto is things other than Bitcoin. Just a couple of months ago, in early January, Bitcoin was 73% of the entire crypto market, and today it's 45%. And Bitcoin's the reason that all these other assets are moving. So this is why I strongly believe that this is going to bounce soon. And it'll probably bounce for two reasons. One, it'll bounce because it's sucking the life out of other assets, maybe a smaller bounce. And then it'll consolidate and it'll lose some value. So maybe it does something like this. I don't really know. I have no idea exactly what it's going to do, but you get the idea. It'll consolidate some, maybe another leg up, consolidate some more, and then it's going to sell off bad. And then all the other crypto assets are going to actually, I'm doing this the wrong way. All the other crypto assets are going to bleed versus Bitcoin when it sells off hard, and that causes a big, fast spike. So I bet you get something that looks like this. For the rest of the cycle. It's probably about what's going to happen. I don't know. Who knows? All right. Hope that answered your question. Somebody made 10K this week. My career, I'm making money, self-taught, put over 10K over 2 years since 2010. 2021, January, I started a swing trade. I don't know what this... been watching crypto day and night for 4 years. Guys living under a rock, living crypto. What about Nano? Nano looks underpriced. Nano, the coin, is what I want. I've always done some analysis on Nano. Yeah, Nano's, that's right. Nano is another one of these graph-based ledgers, if I recall. I believe one of my good friends pays his kids in Nano for their chores. That's pretty cool. 9. Let's see what kind of move it's had. I don't know if it's undervalued. 831% move from January. It's cool. These graph-based ledgers are interesting. The first one to really figure it out. So H-bar, Hedera, Hashgraph, Nano, IOTA, a couple of kind of projects in that space. Whoever figures it out and they really, are the first to master this a graph-based decentralized ledger with smart contracts and so forth and so on, they're going to have a big technological advantage over blockchain. That's for sure. So it's interesting. I don't have a good sense on. All the research I've done is that they're largely blowing a lot of smoke about their capabilities. And I felt that. I experienced that firsthand with IOTA. Because I was really big in IOTA for a while. All right. You're consolidating. You got it's a very large pattern. And you got this bull flag-ish looking thing over here. This is a daily. Let's go to like a 4-hour, really low time frame. So you got a very large consolidation pattern. And you've cut above this mid-level right here, and you're holding that as support. So you're looking good. You're on the upper half of this. Looking good for a potential next breakout. How I would play this myself, not financial advice, is if you break outside of this, you might look at checking some entries up there, or a breakdown. You know, I'm not going to short crypto right now. I need confirmation we're in a downtrend. This is an uptrend, so you're just looking for long entries, right? So you can also be try to be a little bit. Nah, I mean, you break out of here, get some confirmation you're breaking out, and there's some good entries there possibly. Shiba, yeah, I've heard about Shiba. I don't even know this stinking Shibu Inu Tether. Where do you even trade this asset? My goodness, I don't have access to it. I guess on anything other than Uniswap. Yeah, I heard it's kind of taken over for Dogecoin, huh? I don't know. I have to understand what the heck I'm buying and why I'm buying it. And I've never, ever bought, shorted anything Doge. I've never done anything with Doge ever. And Shiba would be the same to me. I don't know what the heck this wick was from. This is a really short chart. This goes back to April. Did they just launch this? As far as I think, if I heard right, this just got launched anyway. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. Not a thing. Chart wise, you know, you broke out this whatever this wick high is was created. You know, the market reacted around that level a little bit. Suppose if you break out again, I don't know. I don't have much for you on this one. There's not a lot of this. I don't have a historical chart to work with. I mean, this is the main thing. I'll give you this. Here's your resistance right now. This is your daily close and open. Get above that, then you can look for long entries above this line. Well, that's it. It's moved too fast for me to be interested in it. All right. Can you look at analysis of Woo USDT I'm watching? Woo. What is Woo again? What is it? I have a hard time just looking at just charts. I'm not the Woot Woo trade. Feel like I've heard of it. It's a layer 1 trading infrastructure with deep liquidity, front-end GUI. So it's a DEX-ish, a layer 1 trading infrastructure. Interesting. Okay. Looks great. Looks really good. I like this one. So what I like about it is you have a pretty stable uptrend that you're in. It hasn't gone ridiculously parabolic just yet. So that's good. For this stage that we're at right now, it's hard to find things that look like this. So from February until today, you're up. What is that? Stuff's always in my way. Stop it. I can't see those words. Just one more time. 2,500%. My goodness. Maybe you're up more than that. Okay, never mind. It's a bit much. So you're probably going to cool off quite a bit. So that so this daily, okay, because there's a daily. I was thinking it was a 4-hour earlier. Stop it. I'm really tired, guys. I keep doing stupid stuff with my charts. It's killing me. That's my prime trend line. I'm just going to draw that as a prime trend line. I'm trying to hit control to copy this stinking thing. It's not working. There it goes. All right. So this is a kind of a channel. You're breaking above the channel right now. Now these top side channel breakouts. It depends on where you draw the top of your channel. You probably should draw it up here. There you go. You're coming into resistance on it, really. If you can break out to the upside of these provide some interesting trade opportunities. I would, if it was me, not knowing anything about this asset, I would wait for it to come back to a support level. A good support level. That's going to be a support level at 103 and then 85 cents. All right, there's a couple levels for you to watch. Actually, this one's more important. Right at $1. Right at $1 and 84 cents at the bottom of this this trend line here too. If you get rejected here and can wait to buy back at the bottom of this channel, it might be a great play. Just lean into that support because it looks like if you sell off fast enough, you might be coming into that support, have a confluence of the 84 support and the bottom of this channel. What I would do if it was me, I would wait to see it sell off. I would watch to make sure it gets support, and once it breaks its dollar level, I might take an entry there. But it needs to back off and come to some level, and that I can monitor and see that it's going to hold the support. I know where my stop loss is, right below here, and I get a confirmation of resumption. That's what I'd be looking for. All right, I'm going to probably wrap up here soon. I'm going to run through the comments real fast, see if there's anything really outstanding. I hope I covered some good stuff. It's been an hour. Areas of support for ETH/USD and ETH/BTC. Well, if you rotate into Bitcoin now, like on the USD chart, you might be buying back into Ethereum higher. But hopefully, Bitcoin doubled while Ethereum went up a little bit, right? So hopefully you're like selling Bitcoin back into Ethereum when Bitcoin's at 100,000 and Ethereum's at 5,000 or something. That would be the goal, right? And so as far as the ETH/USD chart support, these levels, the support is going to be 3,900. This fib level. Realistically, you're probably going to print 3,200 again, at least, right? At least 3,200, most likely again. You're going to see it again at some point. So whenever Bitcoin sells off after this next leg up, I would place a pretty good wager that you're going to see these levels again on Ethereum. So you could look at these levels. Weekly levels are going to be a little. Oh, dang it! There's nothing, man. Good night. The last weekly, 1,900. You might come all the way back down there. That's a that's a place to look. I would not be shocked to see us print 1951. Oh, you're welcome, Kimberly. Thanks for the super chat or whatever these things are called. Appreciate it. And what did I answer, by the way, Kimberly? Woo? Okay, cool. I have an alert set for around that lower range. Cool. Yeah, so you see here on the weekly chart, this is our last weekly support down here at 1951 on Ethereum. You could absolutely print that again. That'd be a pretty rough sell-off, wouldn't it? I think more likely, you see right here this 3,200 level. It's the bottom of this, where we had this daily red close and then open, and then the market reversed on us. That's a pretty fair level to watch. That 32.48. That's the likelihood. The likelihood that you see 1951. It's a distinct possibility, but it's not a given, right? It's not an absolute given. The likelihood that you see 32.48 again is pretty high. Is really high actually, but I would say 90% or 80% that you see that level again. ETH BTC is going though. Let's see here what we got. Yeah, so ETH BTC, you've got you're at 068. You have 072 resistance roughly. It's roughly where I put it. This is not high fidelity. I didn't do a lot of work on this. I just did a real quick eyeball of it. If I went and really studied this price action, I might change my mind a little bit and dial it in a little bit more, but it's probably somewhere right around 0.72. All right, that's it. What's your beer on PAX BTC after the blow off top? We'll talk about the PAX BTC trade when it's time. After we exit, let's focus on exiting the top, and then take a breather, and then we'll figure out where the best place is to go. I'm not going to go into it right away because I want to give it some time to make sure that I did exit the top, quote unquote, and that I didn't exit, an impulse early and we go much higher, and I'm trying to short Bitcoin and it's ripping in my face. So I'm going to make sure that we establish a downtrend. I'm going to make sure that, so I'm going to take a breather. And I'm not even going to worry about what asset I'm going to trade against or whatever until I have some time to analyze that. Thinking about that now, trying to plan for that move ahead I think it's a very bad idea. I think right now you've got to focus on the trade in front of you. When you're done with this trade, then you can analyze and focus on that trade. That's my opinion. I think all these people talking about Pax Gold and rotating into Pax, you know, shorting Bitcoin, long gold, short Bitcoin at the top. You don't know if you exited the top. You hope you did, but you're like trying to pick the top if you literally rotate right away into that trade. It's a horrible idea. So even thinking about it, even talking about it right now is a bad idea. Just not even talk about it. Let's just wait till we get there, and then we'll do some fresh analysis and see what the best next move is. All right. Thanks, everybody. That is all the time I'm going to have for tonight. I am dying over here. I need to throw some Doge-wave on and get out of here. See y'all.